Alright, so we can talk about VAT in a couple of ways, right? We can talk about the process of the implementation of VAT, which is, in my opinion, practically non-existent, right? I mean, even the passing of the law seemed to have been done in a way that was less than transparent, okay? We were in the middle of talking about a gender equality bill that got muddled by particular Christian voices and selfish political voices in the process, and then all of a sudden VAT was passed. Now, this is one of the most extensive overhauls of the Bahamian economic makeup in its history. And I don't think people are informed about it. I have half a PhD and I don't know what's going on, right? And I think we're worse for the wear because of it, right? As a business owner, I don't at this point understand how this is going to affect my business, particularly as a business owner that owns an establishment that charges 15% gratuity on a check already. Right? So what does this mean when I'm now charging, am I charging 7.5% on top of my 15% grats? Do my servers then take less grats in order for our price point to be better for our customers? And then what kind of economic reaction is going to happen in the face of this? Are people still going to want to come out and eat? Are they going to make better decisions around their own budgeting? Are they going to be hesitant to spend money not knowing what the cost of life or cost of living is going to be in this country? You add that on top of some very political issues one can have with VAT as a system of taxation, right? We live in a place where the difference between the wealthiest Bahamian and the poorest Bahamian is massive, right? And VAT has always tended to tax the poor overwhelmingly compared to the wealthy, right? And that the government did not seek to implement a progressive tax system, an income tax, a payroll tax that would tax the wealthiest of us more than the poorest of us is problematic, especially when you take into consideration that our parliament is full of millionaires, right? I think that's an important point to make. So even from a political standpoint, the idea of VAT as a system which can equitably tax the Bahamian people for government revenue, I think is essentially problematic. So as a business owner, as a citizen of a country who should be informed of the processes of their government, and also as a person who thinks about these things from a very political standpoint, VAT as a thing, right, as an issue, has not been addressed in the way that it's supposed to be for the Bahamian people. It leaves us wondering what's going to happen next. And moreover, I think it creates a bigger divide between the Bahamian government and the Bahamian people, right? And if anything has been more obvious over the last 2 years, in particular, especially when we talk about referendums or massive changes in the way we organize our society, is that these things tend to fail or fall apart because of a mistrust in the government or because of a lack of legitimacy when it comes to government officials. Okay, that I think is something that needs to be pointed out in particular. There's a host of research of the damage that VAT has done as a tax system to other places. Nobody's having these kinds of discussions in depth, examining what the possible effects of this new taxation system will be. And again, this leaves us kind of naked in the face of something changing. Not to mention that we have an inefficient civil service with 30,000 people managing the affairs of 375,000 Bahamians, when, as Aaron Ferguson likes to point out, Google has 3,000 employees and manages the information of 1 billion plus people. And so how are we then going to actually make this thing work? The Bahamian government has failed to collect property taxes. The duty system does not work correctly. We know that Bahamians are professionals at hiding new items coming over on the plane. Bahamians love services and they despise government taxes. The question is, how as a business owner and how as a citizen do I even deal with this problem of VAT? You know, how do I even report this my tax collection, or how do I even pay my taxes to the government, and through what department? This is something that's happening in literally, what month is it? End of September, October, November, December. This is supposed to happen in January, right? 3 months to get an entire government organization together to tax across 700 islands, multiple businesses, when the business licensing office and the registry office aren't even connected on the same database. And I can tell you that as a business owner, because the dealings that I had with both business license and registry suggested to me that these two departments don't even talk. So what does this mean? Like I'm confused as to what any of this means. You understand? I'm lost. I'm at a loss, and until my government decides that they can adequately explain to me how this process will work, what this means for me as a small business, and what this means for me as a citizen, then I am unsure as to how we will survive this transition. Point blank period.